Something big is happening behind closed doors at Samsung, and it's not your typical yearly upgrade story. The Galaxy S26 lineup, once expected to roll out smoothly, has suddenly turned into a puzzle of canceled models, revived ideas, and production chaos. Leakers are calling it Samsung's boldest shakeup in years, but the real story might be even crazier than it looks. Hey everyone, James here. Welcome back! Before we dive deep into Samsung's latest flagship drama, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because trust me, this one's worth sticking around for. So let's start with the biggest twist of all, the Galaxy S26 Edge. A few months ago, Samsung was quietly working on a razor-thin Edge model that was meant to replace the Plus version. The idea was sleek, futuristic, and clearly inspired by the growing ultra-thin trend we're seeing across the industry. But here's the catch. That plan just got scrapped. Reports now claim the S26 Edge won't even make it to production. Why? Because Samsung realized the same thing most users already knew: thin phones might look great, but when you trade away battery life, cooling, and comfort, the excitement fades fast. So Samsung pulled the brakes before it was too late, and that decision set off a chain reaction inside the company. Scrapping a model so late in development meant the production timeline had to be rebuilt from scratch. The Galaxy S26 Plus, which was supposed to be gone, suddenly got revived, and that brought chaos to Samsung's schedule. Instead of starting mass production in December, the plan was pushed back to January 2026. That may sound minor, but it's not, because now the entire Galaxy S26 series might launch weeks or even months later than usual. For years, Samsung has owned January with its Galaxy Unpacked events. But this time, we might be waiting until March 2026 to see the phones hit shelves. Now, this delay might not just be about timing, it's about identity. Earlier rumors suggested Samsung wanted to replace the base model with something called the Galaxy S26 Pro. The goal was to make the lineup sound more premium. The problem? The so-called Pro wasn't really Pro at all. It looked almost identical to the regular S26, offering no real flagship leap. So Samsung quietly dropped the idea and decided to keep things simple. The S26 name stays, the Pro branding is gone, and that might actually make the series feel more authentic again. But here's where it gets interesting. The Plus model's return could be the real underdog story. After being left out of early plans, the S26 Plus is back, and it's reportedly being redesigned to fix everything fans complained about in the S25 lineup. That includes better grip, stronger battery endurance, and a slightly more premium build. Insiders even claim the comeback of the Plus is one of the main reasons for the delay. Samsung basically had to restart production planning midstream. That's a massive logistical headache, but if done right, it could make the Plus the surprise favorite of 2026. Of course, no Galaxy lineup is complete without the Ultra. The Galaxy S26 Ultra remains the undisputed star, and this year, Samsung is reportedly refining it with smaller design tweaks that make a big difference in hand feel. The corners might be softer, the camera bump cleaner, and under the hood, there's serious power. Depending on where you live, you'll either get Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 for Galaxy or Samsung's next Gen Exynos 2600. Either way, performance should take a leap, and this phone is expected to show off Samsung's most polished AI software yet. But perhaps the most fascinating part of all this is what the delay might mean. A later launch could give Samsung the breathing room it needs to fine-tune performance, optimize software, and polish the final hardware before unveiling it. Think of it less as a delay, and more as Samsung taking an extra lap to make sure the Galaxy S26 series doesn't stumble out of the gate. And there's even talk that this could help Samsung strategically time its release around Apple's rumored shift, since Apple's next-gen iPhones might also arrive later than usual in 2026. If both giants move their timelines, the entire flagship season could look completely different next year. For Galaxy fans, that means a bit of patience might finally pay off. The Edge might be gone for now, but the Plus is back, the Ultra's getting smarter, and the entire lineup seems focused on delivering meaningful upgrades instead of gimmicks. Samsung's clearly listening, trimming the fat, fixing the flaws, and focusing on what actually matters. And if this strategy works, the Galaxy S26 series might just mark the start of a new era for Samsung flagships, one built on refinement rather than risk. So yes, the wait might be longer, the leaks might be confusing, but the payoff could be huge. The Galaxy S26 lineup may not arrive in January like usual, but when it finally does, It could easily be Samsung's most calculated and confident release in years,